Hi all, and thanks so much for joining me today. My name is Nafisa, and I'm a yoga and mindful movement educator based right here in Toronto. I'm so excited to be practicing with you today. So to kick it off, just a few housekeeping things. From a props perspective, you don't need anything other than yourself and ideally a mat. If you don't have a mat today, that's okay. Any sort of soft cushioning or a carpeted area will be great support. Today's practice will be what we can consider some mindful stretching. So not as much of a flow, but things that you can squeeze in throughout your studying or things like that, that can hopefully provide a bit of release, some flexibility, stretching, and maybe a return of energy to the body after a long day. One thing I like to always mention as well in this new virtual era, I'm so excited about it and that we get to be practicing together, but it does mean that I can't see you. So my only ask is, while I am here guiding you and you'll hear my voice throughout, remember that your body is the ultimate guide. So if at any point you are feeling a bit of strain or discomfort, have some self-compassion, take a moment, maybe ease off of that shape. Feel free to join us whenever you're ready, and I will do my best to provide options and variations throughout that hopefully make this enjoyable and easier for you today. So with that, we'll get started, and we can begin today in a seated position. So for the seated position, you can be seated on your heels. If that's uncomfortable, feel free to meet me in a cross-legged position. So we'll just take a few moments here, getting comfortable, taking our time. And if you feel comfortable doing so, maybe we'll begin today's practice with our eyes closed. And we'll start by allocating all of our awareness and our attention to the sounds around us. So we'll move through a bit of a sound awareness exercise. To do that, we'll first start by turning our attention to the sounds that are furthest away. So maybe those are the sounds outside. Perhaps you hear the whooshing of cars. Maybe you hear some strong wind today. Taking a few moments here to just really zone in on the sounds outside your home or your personal space right now. Next, we'll bring our attention a little bit closer and we'll zoom our awareness into the sounds that are perhaps in the rooms nearby or around us right now. So maybe you hear the sound of the AC or the heat whirring in the background. Maybe there's some chatter in other areas of your home or condo. Maybe there's some music playing that you're noticing. Taking a few moments to take all that in. Next, we'll bring our awareness to the sounds closest to us. So maybe visualizing the sound of your breathing, the air flowing in and out of your system, any prana or energy moving right now. Maybe bringing your attention to the sounds in your mind, the chatter that's taking place right now, maybe some distractions that are at play. And without holding any judgment, just noticing the sounds that are closest to you. And with that, I'd like for you to visualize your hand is on a volume knob. And we're just going to begin to turn down the volume on all of the sounds around us. Slowly bringing things to a quiet, maybe to a stillness. Allocating our space and our attention to the present moment in today's practice. Taking a few seconds here to reset as we begin. And just keeping in mind that throughout today's practice, if you do lose awareness or you get distracted, that's okay. Just come back to your breath as your anchor. Turning your attention to your breath or to the sounds around you will be a great way to reset. And with that, if you're not seated on your heels, feel free to adjust to that now, just gently opening the eyes getting ready to begin today's practice, we'll begin by inhaling as we take our gaze up to the ceiling. So we're just gently creating a bend in that neck. And then exhale as you bring that chin into your chest, feeling that stretch through the back of your neck. Inhale, we look up. Exhale, we look to our chest. One more time. Inhale to the ceiling. Exhale back down. And then with that, we'll inhale as we take our arms to the sky, imagining you're growing taller, reaching for the ceiling. And then exhale as you bend at the elbows, feeling this opening through your chest. Maybe your shoulder blades are squeezing through together. Inhale, we reach for the ceiling. And exhale, we bend at the elbows. Really good work. One more time. Inhale to the ceiling. Exhale, bending at the elbows. And with that, just bring your hands to touch the shoulders. And again, we'll inhale when our elbows are wide, and exhale as you round everything together. Again, chin to chest. Inhale, we open up, back bend here. Exhale, squeezing it all together. Inhale, open up. Exhale, squeeze it together. Really great work. So maybe just roll out the shoulders. That's a really nice thing to do anytime throughout your day when you've been sitting for a while, maybe staring at your screen or your laptop. Next, what we'll move through is just some opening of the side body. So I'd like you to take your right hand, maybe ground the palm into the floor. And then as you inhale, let's circle that left hand overhead. So again, we're reaching for that ceiling. We're feeling that opening through the left side body. And if this is enough for you today, stay right here. If you'd like to experiment with a deeper stretch, maybe on the next breath, taking that left hand towards the right hand side. And the more that you push the right hand into the ground, the more the left side body opens up. One more breath here, and then we release that left hand to the ground this time. So as you ground through the palm of your left hand, let's inhale as we take our right fingertips to the sky, reaching tall. And then on the next breath, maybe the right hand reaches towards the left side. Again, grounding through that left palm to open up a little deeper. If you're comfortable here, maybe taking that gaze ahead as well. Awesome, and we just release that out. And I'll just shift here, but you can stay as you are. I just want to make sure you can see everything. So on the next breath, let's actually take our knees wide. Our toes are still touching in the back, and then you can just walk your hands forward, bringing your chest to the mat. And this can be a nice rest pose, or if you'd like it to be an active one, you can experiment with feeling as if those palms are being pulled towards your heels. So you're feeling the shoulder blades gliding back as your chest opens. Breathing here, maybe noticing where you're feeling tension or where in the body you're feeling some opening, some space right now. On the next cycle of breath, we'll walk both of our hands to the left edge of the mat, checking in that you're still grounding that right sit bone into the heel. So as both hands stretch to the left, we're feeling a nice big opening on the right side of the body here. Holding for 3, for 2, for 1, and then walking the hands back to the middle. Taking a breath here and then walking the hands to the right edge of the mat. Pushing through that left glute so it stays grounded. You're going to feel a nice big opening through that left side body here. Holding for 3, for 2, for 1. Awesome. Hands come back to a neutral position, and then pulling through the grounded palms, we'll lift ourselves back into a tabletop. Okay, so coming into this tabletop position, there's no one perfect way to be aligned or anything like that, but some ways to check in with yourself in terms of what you're feeling is seeing if you feel like the knees are aligned with the hips, maybe the wrist with the shoulders. And with that, we're going to just move through some movements of cat and cow to wake up the spine. So on your inhale, maybe dropping the belly, the chest comes forward, the gaze follows. And then on your exhale, rounding that spine, hugging the chin to the chest again. Cat pose. Inhale, belly releases, chest opens, cow. Exhale, we zip everything together, pushing through our palms as we open the backbones of our body. Inhale, we release everything, gaze goes forward. Exhale, we squeeze it all together. Wonderful. Moving through 2 more cycles of that at your own pace here. Next time, meeting in that neutral position, we will ground through the left hand and inhale as we take the right fingertips to the sky. Exhale as you thread that right hand behind the left wrist, bringing the right shoulder to the mat. And if this feels good, stay exactly as you are. You could also experiment maybe with shifting more of your weight into the right side of the body as a way to massage out that right shoulder. Awesome. Inhale as we come back to neutral, taking a breath here. This time grounding through the right fingertips as we inhale and take our left hand to the sky. Exhale as you thread that left hand palm up behind the right, bringing that left shoulder to the mat. Maybe shifting that weight into the left side or the left hip to feel that opening all the way through the left shoulder. On the next breath, we come back to neutral. Next, we'll move through some fun stuff to just wake up our core a bit, because the core is often not as engaged when we're seated for too long. So toes are tucked here, grounding through both palms. As we inhale, we're gonna lift our knees to hover off of the ground, holding for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and gently coming back down. So another way to play with that is to check in that you are engaging your core when we lift. So again, pushing through the palms, knees lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, dropping that down. And last time, inhaling as we ground through the palms, knees lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We tap to the ground for just a second here, and then on your next breath, as you inhale, push the hips to the sky, coming into your first down dog of the day. Feel free to adjust here, whatever feels natural or good to the body. Maybe this is a good time to walk out our down dog. Maybe we're carrying some tension in our calves or our hamstrings. Feel free to release that out. Maybe for some of us, a bit of side stretching here is what we're craving, and that's awesome too. So whatever feels intuitive here, for the next few breaths, just experiment with that. Meaning back in that down dog. On your next breath, we'll ground through the left toes as we inhale and shoot that right foot into the sky. Our hip still stays fairly neutral. And on the next breath, bringing that knee to the chest, we'll drop that right foot near the right thumbprint. And with that, once you ground through the left hand, let's inhale, right fingertips to the sky, reaching tall. On the next breath, drop that back knee down, and we'll actually take our fingertips to face the back edge of the mat. If this is a lot for you to do today, then maybe stay here or just come back to a neutral where you're facing forward. If you'd like to experiment with a bit more of an opening in the hamstring, what you can actually do is grounding through the knee, lift that back foot up as if the sole of your foot is facing the ceiling. And maybe reaching is enough for us today. That's awesome. If you can reach for the ankle, you can experiment with that, maybe grabbing hold of the ankle. And once you have that ankle here, just staying in this one knee twist. Options to bring the foot a bit closer if you want a deeper opening through the hamstring. Options to also take that knee out wide if that's what you're craving today. Maybe the gaze follows in this one knee twist. And on the next breath, releasing that out, the hand comes back to the ground. The toes are tucked, the foot is grounded, and then we'll begin to send our hips back as we slowly peel that front foot off of the mat. Maybe the hands are walked back a bit, and we come to stand on our front heel. If you have blocks, this is a really good time to use them. If this feels like a lot, then stay with that bent knee. If you'd like to experiment, this is where we can have some nice length through that spine, and we are grounding through that heel as our gaze is ahead. Sort of like a half split here, just to open up that hamstring a bit more. And then on that next breath, we'll bring that sole of the foot back down to the ground, grounding here. And this time we'll take the right hand, we'll bring it to the inside of the right foot. So almost like a variation on a lizard. Taking a breath here, we'll push through the palms of both hands, lifting the back knee here. And on the next breath, grounding through that right hand, maybe opening the left hand to the sky. Holding and then releasing that back down. This time the hand comes back to the outside edge of the foot, and you'll just walk that foot towards the left hand, coming to the outside edge. So essentially the foot is bent at 90 degrees in the front, and then you can just adjust the back foot so it's bent at 90 degrees as well. And if that feels like a bit much, feel free to adjust and bring them in closer as you'd like. Taking that left hand and just bringing it to the sole of your foot, maybe the right hand comes ever so gently to that right knee. On the next breath, we're gonna push through both sides as we hinge at the hips and send ourselves forward. And we'll just hold here ever so gently and then come back up. And again, we'll inhale here, exhale as we hinge at the hips, ever so gently leaning into that hip. Back up, one more time. This time maybe see as you've warmed up if you'd like to go a bit deeper. So inhaling here, maybe hinging that chest over the shin. Holding here for a few more seconds than we did the others. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and then gently coming back up. It's probably quite some fire we're creating in the hip today, so have some compassion, take your time here. The next thing we'll play around with is the same movement, but instead of bringing our chest over our shin, this time we'll take the chest and bring it over the foot. So we're just rotating our body ever so slightly. And again, the hand can be resting on the floor, right outside of the knee, or you can have it on the knee if that helps. So taking an inhale and then hinging at the hips. That gaze is just over our toes. And we come back up. Inhale, hinging over the hips. Maybe we go a little bit deeper. We release that out. And again, this last one will be for a bit longer. So inhaling as we lengthen the spine, exhale as we fold over that foot. Holding for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. We just come back up here. Hands are out in front of us, and through that, we'll push through the palms and just send that knee behind us. Maybe taking the knees a bit wide, and we'll just send our hips back, maybe walk the hands forward, taking a moment of rest here in child's pose. This is a great time to grab a sip of water if that's what you're craving. Just taking a few seconds here. On the next breath, rounding through the spine, we'll come back into this pseudo tabletop-like position. You can walk the knees in a bit, tuck the toes, and again on our next breath, we'll inhale as we push through the palms of our hands, and as we exhale, sending the hips to the sky. So maybe taking a second here to just be curious as we're back in downward dog. Does anything feel different? Do you feel the same that you did when you were in this shape earlier? Maybe the right side is a bit more open or a little bit more sore right now. Just having an open mind and a curiosity to what we're feeling. On the next breath, pushing through that right foot, we'll inhale as we send the left heel to the sky. Hips are neutral. Exhale, you bring that knee into the chest and then imprinting that left foot down right near the left hand. On the next breath here, we'll inhale, grounding through the right hand, left fingertips go to the sky. Dropping that right knee down, and the fingertips go to face the back edge of our mat. So our sides of the body are different, so it's okay if you experiment with different things, but be thoughtful to what you felt before, maybe trying to keep it similar here. So as you're reaching to the back edge of the mat, maybe lifting that right foot off of the mat and reaching for the heel with that left hand. If you can grab at the ankle today, awesome. Just holding there, maybe playing with bringing the heel a little closer, or if that's too much, just letting it release out a bit further. Taking a few moments here to allow that opening throughout the quad. And on your next breath, we release that down. The hand comes to the inside of the left foot. We inhale as we lift that heel up, lift that knee up, and grounding through the left hand, let's just take those right fingertips up. Beautiful. We release that hand down. The left hand comes to the outside edge of the left foot. You can walk it in a bit. We drop that knee down, and then we begin to send our hips back, maybe walking our hands as we go, eventually coming to stand on the left heel. And the more you dig that left heel down, the more opening you'll feel through the hamstrings. Keeping that spine long as we do so. And then inhale, creating that bend back in the knee. We come back up. This time, lifting the back knee just as we walk our left foot, coming onto the outside edge, dropping that knee as we come down. Just gently here, again, having the left knee bent at 90 degrees as well as the right. So once you're adjusted here at about 90 degrees for each, you can take that right hand, bring it to the sole of the foot, and the left hand can be on the floor or right on the knee. If you have your hand on the floor, that will give you a bit more room to bend, so be compassionate there. So as we inhale, let's create some length in the spine, exhaling as we hinge at the hips, holding here for just a few seconds. And on the next exhale, we come back up. Inhale for length in the spine, exhale as we fold over the shin. Coming back up, this last one, we'll hold it for a few more seconds. So inhaling here with length, we are tall. Exhale as you keep the spine long, just bending through the hips. Maybe going a bit deeper this time, chest over the shin. Holding for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and then releasing back up. This time again, we're gonna have the same leg and lower body shape, but our chest will actually fold a bit more closer to the foot. So option here to have that left hand on your left knee for a bit of support. So on your next breath, just gently here, holding over that foot, releasing back out. You know the drill, one more time, going in a bit deeper. Releasing back out, and this last time we'll hold for a little longer. Inhale for length, exhale as you fold over that foot. Holding for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Release that out. The next thing we'll do is we'll just take both of our legs out in front of us long here. Inhale, fingertips to the sky. Exhale as you hinge again at the hips, maybe just reaching towards the toes. And we don't have to grab at the toes or anything today, just reaching to see where you can get beyond them. And then inhale, slowly release that out, and that work that we just did there, maybe rolling the shoulders. On the next breath, we'll bend at the right knee, stepping that right foot over to the outside of that left knee. And then we'll take the left elbow and just hook it to the outside of the right knee. Once you have this, the right hand can just go behind you, just feeling a bit of a twist here. And you have the option to create a bit more tension intentionally as you lift that palm up. And so on the next breath, let's grow a little taller and exhale as we twist over, taking our gaze maybe over that right shoulder to the back of our mat or the back of the room. Inhale for length, exhale for twist. Inhale, length, exhale, twist. Just then gently releasing that out. Maybe hugging the knee with that right hand is a way to just counter some of that stretching that we did. On the next breath, let's take that right foot long, this time bending at the left knee and stepping that left foot over to the outside edge of the right knee. Hooking the right elbow to the outside of the left knee, our left hand will just come behind us here. Inhale, we grow tall for length. Exhale, we twist a bit in this shape. Maybe that gaze again is over that left shoulder behind you. Inhale, growing a bit taller, crown of the head is reaching for the ceiling. And exhale as we're creating some nice twist through our spine. Release that out, maybe a nice counter hug right here, some compassion. And we'll just close off today's practice with one last hip opener. So bringing your feet in towards you, you can have the two soles of the feet matching up towards each other. You can have the options to have the feet pretty far out, maybe closer together. Really be thoughtful in what you're craving and what doesn't feel like too much here. As the soles of the feet are together, you can take the hands, maybe interlacing them here behind them. Inhale, we roll the shoulders back so we have some nice length in the spine. And then exhale, bending at the elbows, but keeping your spine long as you fold forward. Sending the hips back the whole time. They're grounded here. And just a nice last hip opener here for us today. Holding for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Ever so gently coming to the outside edges of our knee as we bring them together. Maybe coming back into a cross-legged or seated position here. And for a few last seconds, just closing the eyes, taking a few moments to check in with ourselves. This presence, this awareness that we're feeling with our body, with movement, energy flowing in and out of the system. And for a few seconds, just considering how you might be able to carry that with you throughout the day. Gently opening the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me in today's practice. My name is Nafisa, and I had so much fun, and I hope we get to see you again soon. Take care.